Hey people, decided to do something different today. Bear with me. I hope you can hear me. So usually I do my book talks at 7:45 on Instagram. I decided to do it on Facebook because I can download it from here. So I'm just gonna wait for a few people to sign on. The books I'm gonna talk about tonight is I Am Alphonso Jones by Tony Medina. Is actually what you call a graphic novel. And then also X, which is a novel by, I might be saying her name, Ilyasah Shabazz. She's the daughter of Malcolm X. She actually wrote a novel. It's Malcolm X's life, but it's written like a novel, not like an autobiography. I want to talk about both of those tonight. So I'm appealing to my male readers. If you love historical fiction, you will definitely be interested in some of these books. So I'm gonna wait a little bit to see who else signs on and then go from there. So again, y'all know I write, I'm an author, but I'm also a teacher and I believe in promoting reading. And one of the things that the reason why your student or your child does not love to read because they just haven't found the right book yet. There's no such thing as someone who does not love to read. You just haven't found the book that has caught your attention or found the author that has made you want to keep reading. The reality is once they find that author, once they find that particular text, once they find that particular style, you can't get them to put a book down. So I decide, again, I'm doing something different. I usually post these on IG and then I repost them on my YouTube page or also on my Facebook page. But I decided to go live on Facebook because I seem to have more viewers on there, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if most of you will see the playback. I Am Alphonso Jones. I don't even know how I came across this book. But immediately when I saw it and I looked it up, I wanted to learn more about it. What I love about this book, and that's why I was able to read it in one sitting, it is what you call a graphic novel. Y'all see? So it's told like a comic book, but because it's a novel, it's because it's longer. So you have this young, promising man, Alphonso Jones, who is very studious. His mom fights for him to go to art school in his area. And Alphonso, within the first few pages, we learn Alphonso is killed mistakenly by a security guard. Okay, this is the first page. Okay, so Alphonso was actually shopping for a suit to see his father for the first time. His father was wrongfully incarcerated, convicted and incarcerated, and his father is finally getting out. And on the day his father is supposed to get out, he gets killed. He's mistaken by a security officer for shoplifting. And what's so bothersome about the whole situation is all Alphonso had was a hanger. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? So what ends up happening is Alphonso's spirit ends up getting trapped on this subway where they're restless, their souls are restless, and they're trying to find justice. And that's when you learn about other people who are wrongfully killed in the New York area by police. These are people I've never heard of their cases. Some of the people that were mentioned in the book, Eleanor Bumpers, a young lady who they realized she was mentally ill, all because they evicted her from her apartment. Police came to remove her and she ends up dead over eviction. And the amount of money she owed was less than $100. That was the crazy part of it. So you have all these people who were unjustly killed by police. Police were acquitted or told they didn't need to stand trial for the situation. And what it does in this book is it takes you through a journey of everyone who was involved in Alphonso's life, including Alphonso. Alphonso doesn't understand, number one, why am I even here? What? I was trying on a suit and now I'm dead. So he's struggling with that. Then on top of that, his father, who's supposed to be released, all of a sudden the mayor decides, you know what, we shouldn't release you right now because that may start a protest or uproar. Really? Like, this book really, I could not put it down. It's a very easy read. Parents, if you have kids who are very visual, graphic novels are the best way to start. There are plenty of graphic novels out there that your child can start reading, and it's considered a text. Let them read that. I learned a lot about different other people that were involved. And matter of fact, at the end of the book, they tell you about the people. They were called the real life ancestors. And it was Eleanor Bumpers, Amu Diallo, Michael Stewart, Anthony Baez, and Henry Dumas. They tell you about their stories and how they were killed, again, by police over the craziest things. And then two of them, they realized it was a matter of mental illness. So supposedly New York has changed laws to address how you deal with mental illness. But even in the case with Alphonso, even though his case is a fictional case, this is what you call historical fiction. It's historical fiction because Alphonso Jones is not real. But the characters and the events that happen in the story are real. Like Eleanor Bumpers is a real person. Michael Stewart was a real person who was gunned down by the police. And it just makes you realize more and more things need to change. And it made me wonder, what can we do to change? You know, one thing I'll admit, in South Carolina, we don't deal with this as much as other areas. But when you hear about the corruptness of certain systems and how they're still able to operate, and how cops are able to go back on the streets after doing what they're known for doing. But they had this thing called the Ancestors Wall at the end of the novel, and people's names like Philando Castile and Alton Sterling and Michael Bell and Tamir Rice, their names are on the Ancestors Wall. So again, this is a great novel. Teachers, I think this was a great classroom read, honestly, myself. But again, it just takes you through. If you're familiar and you watch the news and you're on social media, you're very familiar with this story. Another young man lynched by the police, and for no good reason. A very good, prominent young man, innocent, not even proven guilty, but just because of the color of his skin, is gunned down. And what was so crazy about it is, I'm not going to tell you how the case went with the police who was accused of the crime, but it showed again, like how, remember when, oh gosh, not Alton Sterling. Why can't I think of his name right now? I don't know why names elude me all of a sudden. Let me see if I can look it up here. And I'm mad I forgot this name, because this is the one that sticks out to me of all names. We can go for Michael Brown, but anyone who's ever been gunned down by the police or gunned down by someone, they try to vilify the character, and that's what they tried to do with Alphonso, which, ooh, it burned me so bad. They didn't vilify the security, and the thing was, it was a security guard. He wasn't even a real officer. He was a security guard. And he thought he saw a gun. Come to find out, it was a hanger. It was a hanger he was taking out, and he thought he saw a gun, and the guy got killed. What are you talking about? This is crazy. This also reminds me of the movie See You Yesterday by Spike Lee. It is on Netflix. I'll admit there's a lot of cursing in it, but that was an awesome movie. And it speaks on that STEAM aspect of how we have, the black kids are into engineering, but it also involves a Black Lives Matter issue. So again, it's called See You Yesterday by Spike Lee. It is on Netflix. It's an awesome movie. But in the movie, she's trying to invent a time machine. Her and her best friend have been trying to invent a time machine to go back and fix when her brother is killed by police. Again, they think they see a weapon. It's not even there, and it just burns you up, because it's like, why do we keep dealing with these issues where y'all think you see a weapon and you automatically shoot to kill? I don't understand. The book that I'm currently reading, and I'll admit I've had this for almost 2 or 3 years. It's X, and this is by Malcolm X's daughter. Pretty much she takes Malcolm X's story and she writes it like a novel. I'll admit I've had this book for about 2 years, maybe, because it's been about 2 years since we went to Atlanta, and this is when I bought this book. It has its moments. I like the book. It has a good flow to it. It's not as much action, so that's why I read this in one sitting, and I'm still reading this one. I will admit I'm on page 249, so I'm almost done. But it really takes, I've never read the autobiography of Malcolm X, but it takes his story and puts it on a teenager's level. Like, you're reading his life from the time, not from the time he was born, but the time when, right after his father was killed and his mother is institutionalized because they thought she was going crazy and they felt like she was unfit to raise the family. And it just shows you how I'm to the point where Malcolm X's mindset has shifted. You know, he's raised up in a strong home. He's told, we don't eat pork. We don't do credit. If you can't buy it with your own money, don't touch it. You're a bright young man. You came from kings and queens. And then he ends up adopting this lifestyle where literally they call the job a slave. And he was okay with saying that. He was okay with buying a zoot suit. Z-O-O-T, zoot. A zoot suit on credit, when his father taught him, no, we don't buy things on credit. If you can't buy it with your own money, you shouldn't touch it. So how his mentality is shifting. He thinks nothing is wrong with that. How he had beautiful, kinky, coily hair, and then he felt the need to put conch on it and slick it back. So how his mentality is shifted. So I'm going to be amazed to see how far she gets in the book. Like, is she going to change it to when he shifts? Because I know from watching the movie, his mentality shifted when he was in prison. So it really gives you, like, the reason why he used to steal when he was younger is because his mom couldn't afford food, and he would steal to make sure that they could eat, or he could eat. It was either 8 or 9 of them. And then because he kept getting in so much trouble, he ends up living with his older sister in Boston. Experiences some things that she doesn't want him to experience, but he thinks he's grown. He thinks he knows better. She don't know what she's talking about. I don't see a point of an education, because I remember that was a scene in the movie where he said, I want to be a lawyer. And his teacher's like, you shouldn't be a lawyer. But that's what his mom and his dad raised him to want to be, a lawyer. And then when he gets up in Boston and hangs around a certain group of people, which they literally believe, and excuse me for saying this word, but they said, once you're a nigger, you're always a nigger. That's just who I am. And they believed in adopting that mindset. They didn't believe in being proud, being black and proud. And that's kind of where he is now, where I'm in the book, where he literally getting drunk, getting high, to the point he was getting drunk and high all the time, to the point finally he did get fired from his job. His job kind of picked up, you're high, sir. And he was like, man, I can handle it. And now he's actually getting introduced. Somebody said, why aren't you in the game? And you know what game they're talking about. The hustling, the dealing, the whatnot. And he's like, so now he's debating like whether or not he should be in this game. So it's a good novel. I think it's good. I think because it's not as much action as I thought it was going to be. But it does give you like a slight innocence to his life, and just showed how his mentality shifted. So again, every Sunday, what I do is I talk about what I'm reading or what I have finished reading. If you don't see me on here, it's because I haven't finished reading something and it hasn't been that exciting for me to pull it up and let you know. But again, for anyone who's reading or trying to get their children to read, please, 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 please try graphic novels for boys and girls. I've seen graphic novels as long as 300 something pages and the kids eat it up. I've seen authors take their books and they have one version that's just like a novel and they turn the other version to a graphic novel. So they're appealing to two different readers. So definitely consider that. Make sure your child is reading. Like I told y'all, I have Joshua doing, it's called News Ella. I call it News ELA. Probably the only one who does that. But I call it News Ella, and he has to do a quiz a week. Matter of fact, he owes me a quiz for this week. He also has a project he has to do for the magnet program that he's in. And then he's also should be reading a book for me right now. So I need to check in with that because he really should be done with that book. Make sure their mind is being active. If you need activities, reading comprehension activities, reading response journal activities, let me know. Inbox me, DM me, email me. My email, I'll give you my school email. It is rjenkins, RJENKINS at Richland2, RCHLAND2.org. Email me, inbox me, DM me. I can send you what I have, but trust me, if you go online and type in the topics I just said, reading comprehension questions, reader's response journal questions, it will come up in Google and you can download it and just make, and it doesn't have to be 50 questions. You can ask your child a question a day, or let's say you make it where your child reads 20 minutes a day. Ask them a question, just one question, or ask them to do an activity. To ask them to follow up and to show that they understand what's going on in the story and they comprehend, they just not making up something. And again, let them read what they want to read. Don't worry about the length. Now, granted, if they in the 6th grade, they should not be reading picture books. Let's be honest, okay? They should be reading chapter novels. But let them find on the subject they want to read. And again, graphic novels are perfectly okay. Again, I am Alphonso Jones. Just got through reading that. Loved it. Currently reading X by Mrs. Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter. Awesome story. And I will keep you updated on what I'm reading. Our challenge was at Longleaf to read 5 books. Teachers, I think I'm over that. Woohoo. But stay tuned.